when I sat down with employees and I'm like, how the hell are we doing it this way? Like, I remember this is probably like three months ago. I'm like, I grab one of my tax preparers. I'm like, okay, walk me through. As soon as you prepare the return, then what do you do? They're like, oh well, what I have to do is I have to print the draft. I have to upload it to Taxdome. I have to go into this Google Sheet and update this Google Sheet saying that I'm done. I send a message to this other person saying that they can start on the tax return. I have to send an email to the project manager that includes the workbook to the file. And I'm like, holy shit. They have to do, on top of actually doing the tasks that they have to do, they now have to do 6 or 7 or 8 other different things. When you can build it into your SOPs and workflows so that when that employee is done with that task, they check a button that says complete. And then all the information that they need to pass on to the next person lives inside of that task. And so then the next person gets notified, hey, this is ready to be worked on. Here's all the information that's pertinent to the situation. Like, boggling. So if you guys can implement this now where you're at, it's going to be so much easier as you continue to scale. Because uh, I posted this question a couple months ago to some of the group. So put in the chat, everybody put in the chat what your highest paying client pays you right now. Just let's use the yearly amount. What does everybody's highest paying client pay them per year? I'll put mine in the chat too. Okay, I'm gonna pick on somebody random. Let's do somebody I haven't talked before. Javier.
Do it.
If 10 people if 10 people showed up on Monday and said, we're ready to work with you, we're gonna pay you $72,000 a year, could you handle the work on your own?
No, I would need to hire, and I have no systems. Just background. I'm an engineer that bought $1 million company,
Mm.
and all in Excel, 2 software programs, and that's it. Barely in Gmail. So I'm in the middle of kind of creating a base or a baseline foundation before I can go up.
Can anybody on the call right now take on 10 of their highest paying clients without them actually having to do little to no work? No. I'd have to do all the work. Exactly. That's why systems and processes and SOPs are important. Because up until about summer of last year, for me, taking on a new client meant more work for me. And I don't like more work. I like no work. I like to do the things I like to do, but taking on new clients meant more work for me, right? That's why we outline these processes and systems so that we can have our team do it. And I'll put it if you're just getting started with this, there's a book by Henry Ford that he talks about how he built the assembly line basically. And he said that the first 10% of the process was like quality control and figuring out like, okay, all the parts that go on the actual conveyor belt need to be tested, need to make sure like the pistons work or whatever that goes into building a car, right? But on that assembly line, it's like 80% of the work is done by other people. They're putting the pieces of the puzzle together of the car. And then the last 10% that happens before a car obviously gets sold is they test drive it. There's quality control check to make sure that it functions, right? So for a lot of you, the way that this is going to work is just follow the 10-80-10 rule. So the first 10%, That's going to be a lot of you guys right now. You're going to be on sales calls. You're going to be filtering out bad clients. You're going to be setting expectations. Setting expectations is so important, right? When you close a deal, hey, you are going to get an email from our office from Ashley, and Ashley's going to get you set up with the onboarding steps. And then once you get set up with the onboarding steps, then you're going to talk to Jessica, and Jessica is going to help start preparation of your tax return. Right. So it's like delegating that authority on the front end to be like, it is not Ryan, it is not Peter, it's not Justin, it's not Andrea, it's not Neil. It's our team is going to help you do this, right? Because otherwise, you get clients and like you're the face of the brand, you're the person that they expect to see. They're going to expect you to do everything, right? So it's like you set that 10% on the front end of setting the expectations. Let's let the team handle 80% of the work. And then the final 10%, like when you go to do the quality control or the final delivery of the project, like that still can be you, because that's also where you're going to have like an upsell conversation or a cross sell conversation or just like closing the loop on the relationship. But think of it like you do the first 10%, you got to let your team do 80%, and then you do the last 10%. Like start there, and then you can take yourself out of those two 10%, I promise, because I've done it before. Like I've already done this. But like if you haven't started from anywhere, start with the 10-80-10 rule of you're on the first 10%, you're on the last 10%. Everything in the middle is handled by somebody else on your team. Okay?